I wasn't recording that. I need a checklist. I forget things. I almost didn't turn on the light. Would have been all dark.
It wouldn't have worked. It would have been a bad recording because it wouldn't have had not enough light on the.
And that's one day that's gonna happen, because that happens in podcasts. Like, something goes terribly wrong and you got to re-record the episode. It happens. It hasn't happened to us yet, but I feel like it's on its way.
Yeah.
Oh no. Your Opinion Stinks opens the conversation on a hot button business topic
And flips it on its head.
Hosted by a wellness coach
And a business coach.
We break down conventional business
While building entrepreneurs up for success. Who will you agree with?
Welcome to Your Opinion Stinks. I'm Tanisha.
And I'm Tim. As always, thank you guys for listening and watching. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, hit that alert button so that way you can get all the goodness. And if you're on iTunes or anywhere you listen to podcasts, subscribe there and do that auto download because, hey, we're looking at the numbers.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you know.
Yeah. And comment. Leave us some comments. Let us know what you want to see and what you're liking and what you don't like and all of the things.
She's gonna be paying attention to comments. I'll just put that out there right now.
I want to know the comments. I want to know what y'all think. We've gotten some really nice feedback on iTunes. It's nice.
Yeah, surprisingly so.
Yay.
Yeah.
Shout out. What is it? So this is episode 19.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So there was one thing I want to talk about quickly. We're trying to keep it tight, keep it moving. But there's one thing I got to talk about because we talked about this in episode 14.
Yeah.
The PR stunts episode. Check it out if you haven't already. PR stunts. We complained about IHOP. We complained about country griddle cakes, but that's not what this update is about.
For the most part, it was IHOP.
So we talked about how they did a PR stunt where they changed their name to IHOB, and it was a very evidence-based decision because they knew people on social media were talking about burgers more than they were talking about pancakes. And like, we got to get in this burger game, y'all. And when they did, everyone was like, forget y'all, this is dumb.
Stick to burgers. Stick to pancakes.
Exactly. So wait, I'm going to find I got to find IHOP. Okay. So we're going to talk about it really quickly. So introducing our new pancakes asterisk. When we changed our name to IHOB for burgers, the internet told us to stick to pancakes. So we're sticking to quote unquote pancakes. Hint, they're burgers. So they've doubled down this year.
It's one of those situations where you kind of have to respect the shade.
I respect it
because it was ballsy for them to do it in the first place.
Yes, it was.
Then for all the heat that they took,
yes, to come back with
take it and say, okay, you know what, we'll play with you too.
We down for this. Did you see the commercial?
Commercial was pretty.
Commercial's
it was a slap
funny.
in your face.
She's like, yeah, these are totally pancakes, and it's a bunch of burgers. And the guy recording it's like, these aren't what?
I give kudos to the IHOP people, the creatives, because
have you looked at the burgers?
Have I looked at them?
Yeah.
In which way? I don't understand.
Do you know the new burgers they're introducing?
I thought they were just reintroducing the same ones.
No, they're not. They're different. At least one. I think all three of them are different. I know one of them is different. Okay. This is gonna be a surprise. One has a pancake in it.
That was for real. Because I thought it was a hash brown.
No, it's a pancake.
That really does have a pancake. So when she was pointing at it, she was pointing at a pancake. Oh, okay.
Okay, the one has a pancake in it. Also, they have IHOP sauce now. So there's
they have their
IHOP
own
sauce.
Their own
And
Thousand Island sauce.
exactly.
Yeah.
And
It's a Big
or
Mac.
their own Chick-fil-A sauce. You know, Chick-fil-A sauce is delicious.
No, it's probably the Thousand Island sauce. I can't.
You
It looks
can't
it
put
looks like
Thousand
a huge.
Island
It looks
sauce
like
on
a
this.
huge. Why not? That's the same thing as
It's
it's
gross.
a Big Mac.
But it's
It
got a
looks like a huge-
pancake in it.
Okay. What else have they done?
You can't put dressing on a
double-
pancake.
Who says you can put a pancake in a burger?
Yeah, right. That's the
So-
problem I have with it.
So I think your point is moot.
Touche.
So
There's also
Interesting.
the garlic butter.
that's new.
It's got.
Oh, just so you're wondering out there, am I gonna try it? I don't think so. Not this go round.
I was gonna ask because these actually look better.
After
I have to admit.
after get the slap in the face, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do it.
No, I have to admit. We might want. Plus, you know, they're trying to rival Red Robin because now they're. If you come in for a limited time, we'll give you unlimited French fries.
Okay.
And the third one is a loaded Philly. It
All
looks
right.
good.
I will try it.
See, yeah, because if you go to the website, you see them like this
Building
little
it.
thing building it, and it looks really good. I have to admit, I was kind of like, this is dumb. I can't believe they're doubling down on burgers, but the burgers look good.
All right.
So I just wanted to share that. We'll move on. IHOP is not a sponsor. We just. Can you imagine if we got sponsored by IHOP one day?
If IHOP
All the
became our sponsors,
shade
you
we
know how
getting.
much I love their burgers.
Delicious.
Hands down, the best pancakes you'll ever eat.
All right.
Very meaty pancakes.
Meaty. Move. I love a meaty pancake. Moving on. So, the real topic of today's episode is imposter syndrome. Bum, bum, bum.
Oh, say that again.
Imposter syndrome.
Okay, that works.
There you go. So I'm going to read the Wikipedia definition of imposter syndrome. That's why I'm calling it that to begin with.
Okay, I have
But
a
that's
complaint.
not what we're going to keep calling it.
I have a complaint.
Oh, a complaint already.
So
Your opinion stinks.
So, in the building of this show, one of the things that we've talked about a lot was the use of a monocle. After trying
I
a
know.
monocle, it didn't work. Then we have opera glasses. I haven't seen an opera glass or a definition
Look,
in a while.
I
So
got
I'm just putting.
I got a meeting. I had to hurry. I did actually think of that. I was like, oh, I'm about to read the thing and I'm not going to have a monocle or talk about the monocle or the opera glasses. I was like, I got to skip it this time. And then you're going to call me out.
I'm just saying. But please, what does Wikipedia have to say about imposter syndrome?
Funny you should ask, Timothy. I have a definition right here.
I think I hear some music coming.
I do too. Imposter syndrome, also known as imposter phenomenon, imposterism, fraud syndrome, or the imposter experience, is a psychological pattern in which an individual doubts his or her accomplishments and has a persistent internalized fear of being exposed as a quote-unquote fraud. Despite external evidence of their competence, those experiencing this phenomenon remain convinced that they are frauds and do not deserve all they have achieved. Individuals with imposterism incorrectly attribute their success to luck or as a result of deceiving others into thinking they are more intelligent than they perceive themselves to be. So that is imposter syndrome. We're going to call it imposter phenomenon, like the OG of scientific research of the imposter phenomenon.
Burgers?
No, not burgers. No. Oh, Pauline Rose Clance. Okay. So check out the show notes. Like if you're watching on YouTube, check it out below in the description box. If you're just listening, check it out on youropinionstinks.com. We will have a link to Dr. Pauline Rose Clance's website, where you can take the Clance imposter phenomenon scale. So you can find out
how much of an imposter you might be.
How much imposter syndrome affects your life. So it's not really rating you like how much of an imposter you are. It's just how much you feel it, and it's messing with your functioning in daily life.
Same difference.
So I made Tim take it.
Yes, she did.
Tim and I both took the test.
I am trying to just live my life, and I hear we are taking this thing. Now, I don't mind most of the time if I hear the word we, like we are going to go eat dinner. But when I hear we are going to do something that Tim normally would not really want to do, Tim has a problem.
Suspicious.
That. I just had to get that out. I don't like taking tests.
I'm sorry. But you're still alive, and it was interesting. We took it. I
have no idea how this thing turned out.
We'll link to it. I didn't tell him what his score was. I was like, it's fine. It's totally fine.
Not fine.
Not fine. So just before I talk about our scores, I want to emphasize that this is something I think in doing my research, I saw this number come up more than once, that it's estimated, because it's tough to determine how many people experience this, but it's estimated to be more than 70% of people will experience this at least once in their lives. So
imposter phenomenon.
She calls it imposter phenomenon. So it's when you go into a situation and you're like, they're going to find out that I am not as fill in the blank, as talented, as smart, as whatever as they are, and I'm anxious about that, and it's affecting my enjoyment of this interaction and my performance in this.
It's funny, as an entrepreneur, I don't experience that, but when I was in the workforce, I did almost all the time. I get it.
And a lot of the research is in the workplace, and a lot of the research, especially originally and with this OG of this phenomenon, was about women. So this tends to be, labeled onto women as this is a thing that women feel because they're in the workplace and they feel like they don't belong there because it's a male dominated space, and like, oh, they're gonna find out because I'm the only lady. But it's not just a lady thing. It is a high achiever lady thing, which has a lot of research around it, but it's also a race thing, and it's also a male thing.
Yeah.
And anytime you're going into a new environment, you've been invited into a new space, and you feel like that's luck, or that it's a fluke that I'm here, or it was just all of my preparation to do this, not my genuine skill and ability. Mm-hmm. Like that anytime anyone does that, they have the potential of feeling this.
Interesting. Okay.
I know I have. Like, for example, when we both of us went to an arts high school, Duke Ellington School of the Arts in Washington, D.C.
Support the arts.
Yes. And I was in the literary and media arts department, and I totally felt that in a number of ways. When I got in, I felt like, oh, I tricked them. Because when I got there, I'm like, oh, they're better. Their poetry's better than mine.
They know how to use
their
words
writing's better than mine. They have more words. They have all the words. I only have some of the words.
They speak English good.
Mm-hmm. They be speaking English so good. And so I felt like an imposter. And then I got, it's going to sound like a humble brag, but I'm actually saying this for a purpose. No, stop it. I got straight A's while I But anytime, stop it. But anytime someone would confront me about it or like give me a hard time about it or make a joke or compliment even, I'd be like, I'm just good at school. It's not, I'm just good at school. If you put in the work I did, you do it too. It's not my natural ability. It's not me. It's not. Stop it.
So how do we do? I'm
You're
sorry.
really eager to know?
I really want to know.
Okay. Well, So she made the Clance imposter phenomenon scale. And if you go to the show notes, and we'll link to where you can take it to, it's free. You don't even have to put in an email address, which can be annoying sometimes. So after you take it, you fall into like kind of 4 categories. Like the higher you score, the more frequently and seriously the imposter phenomenon interferes in a person's life. So it's that it's happening and it's messing with your ability to perform and be happy.
Okay.
So both of us fell into the second category. So we're sometimes affected. We have moderate imposter phenomenon experiences. So it happens, but we deal with it okay, and it doesn't severely interfere with how we perform. I know you would have wanted to score lower. But, it's decent. But, no judgment on wherever you fall. It's just even if you score really highly, if you end up taking this and you score really highly, that's okay. Like now like that's why I'm so anxious all the time. That's why as an entrepreneur, I'm having trouble networking, or I'm having trouble accomplishing something in my business, that maybe this is the reason why. And good news, you have control over it. You can practice this and get better so that it doesn't affect your life as much.
I could see this being one of those situations where in the right hands, it can be an empowering thing to know, okay, either A, this is something that doesn't hinder me, or B, this is something I need to work on, or C, this is something I need some help with. I also see it on the other end as a detriment.
Really? Why?
Because then it kind of exposes something that someone may have not been wanting to know. So I guess I'll throw it at you just to see kind of where this can help everyone that's watching and listening. On either side of the coin, how can this information be useful? Because it's more than just one thing of just taking it and then, you get the result. How can they use this to improve upon where they are on the test?
My gut response to that question is, I think it's a good question. I think if you score low, your impulse may be, oh, this isn't a problem for me, moving on. And then you dismiss it and move on with your life. And on the high end, your impulse may be to criticize yourself and beat up on yourself unnecessarily. So I would say, no matter where you fall on the range, it's good for you to know where you stand on this scale, to not give it too much weight in your life as though this is a defining characteristic of your performance as an entrepreneur, or whatever office you work in, or whatever it is that you're thinking of that you're an imposter in. Don't take this as the defining thing that is true of you and will never change, and let it be a reason a new reason that holds you back.
I'll go the other way on it, because I kind of see it as with any personality test, to be honest, that it has a certain bias that you have to understand what the bias is. like there's something about this test in my point of view, which kind of gives you the answer as to what to answer, so you can falsely predict what you want.
I'm glad you're bringing that up.
So there's a level of honesty that needs to be given, and then an understanding to that that is a tripping point for me. Like, it's a lot different than something like, okay, if you're not familiar with it, the Myers-Briggs test is a really big personality test. Most entrepreneurs have taken it at some point in their life. But there's something that's really deep rooted in that particular test that makes it hard for you to fudge it. But something like this, it feels like you can do a false.
That's a good point. And I was concerned about that because there are personality tests and different types of tests that you know what it's testing. And if you read through, if it's transparent enough, you can game the system. Mm-hmm. And there are some people who are good at that. But number one, with this test, you need to be honest with yourself, because only you will see the results. It's okay. And number two, you need to respond with your gut instinct.
Yeah, I think is like the
instructions are like, don't sit there and think about it too long. Don't try to tell this doctor that you're totally okay.
Yeah.
Just be honest with yourself and just go through it, because this is a more transparent test. It's not like one of those tests where you can take and you have no idea what it's measuring. You don't know what the quote unquote right answer is. Mm-hmm. You can kind of tell what the right answer is.
Yeah, it's the painting, the color and numbers type thing.
Paint by numbers.
Paint by numbers type thing, where you already know what number you need to paint.
You know what number you should be circling.
So yeah. That's my only criticism on it.
But let's be clear. This isn't the type of test that's like the random internet test you take that has no basis. Like, this is an actual scientist who has created this thing that has pretty much stood the test of time. If you know otherwise, let me know. But in my research, it seemed like it's stood up. And she even addresses that on her website that we'll be linking to. And it says there's good reliability and validity data on the test. So it tends to be true, and it tends to be resistant to change. Like when you take it later, it comes. So that's take it with a little bit of grain of salt. Like I said, don't make this the defining thing. It's like, I have imposter phenomenon, so that's why I'm performing poorly at this networking reception. Like, that's, and then just dismiss it and give yourself a pass on trying to do better. That's not what this is about. It's just to give you something to help you understand yourself a little better and something to improve on.
Okay.
So you want to know some ways that we can improve?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Because this isn't something that's lasting and has to last forever. So we'll just hit on one thing. I found this person who has impostersyndrome.com.
Wow.
Right?
Good job to get that URL.
Get that URL. It's like, all right.
That's a money URL right there.
Mm-hmm. And
they're going to sell that thing for like $100.
This is Valerie Young.
Valerie, get your money.
Get your money, girl. She's an internationally recognized expert on imposter syndrome and author of the award-winning book, The Secret Thoughts of Successful Women, Why Capable People Suffer from Imposter Syndrome and How to Thrive in Spite of It. That's a long title, but it's working for her. So
that's probably title and sub.
She did. No, it was both. Okay. It was a subtitle too. Yeah. She did a TED New York City talk or something.
TED NYC.
Yeah. And wrote this article on, I guess, her website, I guess. And so I just want to highlight, I encourage people to go to the article because I think it has a lot of really helpful tips. I just want to focus on one of them. But before I focus on that, I want to say the things she has in bold, assuming it's her that she did this, in bold and a different color to stand out.
Yeah.
Says, the only way to stop feeling like an imposter is to stop thinking like an imposter.
Bueka, bueka. Now, I'm not one to gossip or to overinflate things, but the way you put that emphasis on that emphasis,
You like emphasis?
that is just overemphasized.
Well,
But
on
I
the
have
page, it's-
I have to agree. All right, yeah, that's crazy. All right, go ahead.
So I want to highlight the first point from, apparently this is like she would break it down into, she used to break it down into 10 steps, and this is the first step. Break the silence. Shame keeps a lot of people from quote unquote fessing up about their fraudulent feelings. Knowing there's a name for these feelings and that you are not alone can be tremendously freeing.
That sounds pretty cool. Like, that sounds a little mindset-y to me, but I can go with it.
I like it because our impulse is to not talk about our feelings. And in my coaching, I've noticed this come up a number of times, that the person will be saying something, and even in the moment, I'm like, well, I feel that a lot, or I've felt that very powerfully before, but it's obvious that that person doesn't feel like anyone else thinks that or feels that. And because we aren't more open, our impulse is to hold these feelings very close to the chest. But there's value in having the courage to say, I'm feeling this way. And sometimes someone's gonna come back and you're like, I feel that too. You're like, oh, thank goodness. I'm not alone. Or you don't think I'm stupid.
Yeah, as an entrepreneur though, it's not typically one of those like friend circle type moments where you have someone to bounce that off of. So that's more of a personal thing.
Fair enough, but even in what I was reading up in researching this, someone made the point, like even if you're in a room, we find ourselves in rooms with people who intimidate us sometimes.
Yeah.
And that for an entrepreneur, that can be a networking reception, that can be at a boot camp where you're with your peers, all these people the group of people that you feel like should feel like your peers, but you're holding them up as this other thing. And there's value in being vulnerable in them, and it can be an endearing thing. It can be a humorous thing. It's okay to say, I really don't understand what you guys are talking about right now.
Yeah.
Can you roll that back just a little bit, and it can be like, oh, I like her. She's cool. She's like, just make a joke of it and be the open person who's ready to learn, and be the person who's willing to be just a little vulnerable. It doesn't mean that you're not one of them. It doesn't mean that you don't excel at things and score or whatever even better than the people you're with. That you can be vulnerable and it not diminish your stature. If you truly embrace yourself as a peer, then why can't you be willing to say, could you roll that? That's not my area of expertise.
That would be the phrasing right there.
Know?
Yeah. Basically, I'd probably say that's kind of the simplest way of really getting to it without having to be shameful.
Yeah, there doesn't need to be shame around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that works. Yeah. One other thing. Thinking about this as either a solo, a dual, or a small group of people type entrepreneurship venture thing. I think this brings about an opportunity to find a common ground where most people won't find common grounds, because there's tons of messaging out in the world of people that show themselves on a good day.
Yes.
And I think this kind of opens up the door to say you can have a bad day. It's okay.
It's okay.
And you can find a way to kind of allow yourself the ability to not be the total solution and still be able to perform at a high level
And contribute. Yeah.
So
that's
the
that.
thing.
Where's the ding? Is that the ding? Ding.
Yeah. So that's
I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's what I kind of grabbed from this, and it's like you don't have to be. Oh, and a really great book, which I'm gonna save this for an episode later.
Ooh.
But one of the things that's said in the book all the time is that everything works 99.9% of the time. And I'm gonna leave you on that because I want to say that for a future episode.
That's an intriguing claim. I'm curious about that.
It's an interesting conversation.
Yeah, my immediate response to that is, that seems high for everything.
And I can't wait to have this conversation. That's my cliffhanger for you.
Ooh, oh, we mean, do I have to read a whole book before next week's episode to be? Oh no, I'm busy. I've got a busy week, man.
Well, you better get to reading.
Oh no. All right.
All right, so
let's end it there. I got some work to do. I gotta get.
Thank you for watching and listening. If you're on YouTube, of course, subscribe and hit the alert button so you know when a new show goes up. We're doing very good at keeping this thing going on a weekly basis.
Yeah. Oh.
And iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, I can't remember the other places. Wherever you listen to podcasts, subscribe and have that auto download so that way you can get it too. I'm Tim.
I'm Tanisha, and remember, opinions are not facts. Do your research and have fun in the fight. Bye-bye.
Check you next time.